to show you what I'm looking for after your trip, what your budget sheet should look like. So number one, just make sure that you are actually on your trips tab. So remember at the bottom, you can switch between trips, and in the top left, it should say your trip's name in red. Next, make sure that you have the correct number of students, leaders, and total number of travelers. This should have been set a while back, but if you haven't edited your budget sheet in a while, then it might be off if you dropped a student or added someone or whatever that might look like. So now all of your expenses on the left-hand side, some of those are preset by me. Not every category needed to be filled out. For example, Costa Rica doesn't have any layovers, so they don't have any information there. So not every category had to be filled out. And then there were also some blank ones here at the bottom where you could put specific things for your trip. So that's what Kelly has done here. The yellow columns are your budget. So this is what we set back in August when we were trying to figure out what the cost per student was going to be. So the yellow columns are no longer important to us. We want to keep them as they are, but we don't need to edit them or do anything to the yellow columns at this time. Now that we're back from our trip, we want to look at the green columns. So the green columns are our actual cost, the actual dollars spent, the actual charges to our credit card. So what we're doing is we're balancing our checkbook. We're saying this is how much we thought it would cost, but this is how much it actually costs. And it doesn't matter so much if you're over or under budget, but what matters is that you're getting every dollar accounted for on your trip. And the reason that we want to do that is because one, it helps us be accountable for this year where our money was spent. And two, it helps us to be planning ahead for the future, that if this trip is done next year or at any time in the future, then we have this budget sheet to look back on and say, oh, how much did it cost to do this, that, or whatever. And if you want to make any changes to say, I want to spend more money here or less money there, you can look at this in the future and make those decisions using informed information and data. So all of your editing post-trip is going to be done in these green columns. For example, t-shirts, we had budgeted $20 per traveler for t-shirts. This was the actual total cost. Remember, you put the total or you put the cost here, and then here is a little drop-down menu where you can put. I recommend using the total column or the total option because now you guys should have invoices. You should know what the total cost of that was because we're no longer estimating. So here we can put in our total cost for our t-shirts. We can put in our total cost for our baggage. I have already gone in and taken care of everyone's airfare using the most recent and up-to-date data from Terra Travel because we had some last-minute changes. Taxes changed between 2024 to 2025. I just made sure that all of the airfare is exactly as it needs to be. So nobody needs to touch these two boxes on your budget sheet, but everything else needs to be updated. So what was your ministry fee? What did we pay out to your ministry partner? How much did you pay for meals and food or tips or cash? Just remember not to duplicate expenses. So if you used your cash for meals and food, just don't insert it twice. Again, we're balancing our checkbook. We thought we were going to spend $100 here. We actually spent $58. We want to make sure that we know where our money is and what's been returned, that kind of thing. So then down here on the right-hand side, you'll be able to see what the total cost for your trip was. And this also helps us understand trip by trip if you were under or over budget. Down here in this box is the amount that was raised for your trip that I have based on Service Reef information and from finance, like development. And so here you can see that they raised over $56,000. Their trip cost $54,500, and so they actually came in a little bit under budget. No one's in trouble for going over budget, but this just helps us plan ahead and helps us look at the program as a whole, understand where we had net losses and where we had net gains, and what that means moving forward. So if every team can go through and just make sure that their budget is taken care of and reconciled, that would be really helpful for us. Thank you.